Today, IvyLee joins us for a story. Hey, welcome, I'm LeilaFox. Today's lore story is for Gwynneth. Gwynneth is an epic dark elf champ that can only be acquired with fragments from the Doom Tower. Today we are joined by our friend IvyLee, and we're going to be sharing her lore story with you. Before we get into the story though, let's check out the dark elf lore faction as a whole. Fallen from grace in their homelands of Arabia, the dark elves inhabit the forests that border the realms of Teleria. They see the persecutions in Karok rather as a boon than a bane, supplying them with a stream of silver. They have set up tolls for those anxious to pass safely, but will betide those who cannot pay. How does Gwynneth's story fit into the Dark Elf faction as a whole? Let's go check it out. Hey guys, today we're joined by our friend IvyLee. Ivy, thank you so much for joining us today for a story.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I've always enjoyed seeing your lore stories, and it's super fun. It's something different that a lot of people aren't doing.
Something different for sure. And today we're going to be talking about Gwynneth, and I know that she's a new champ. Nobody even has her yet.
Right. Yeah, she's one of the Doom Tower fragment champions.
So that's what's going to be a lot of fun, is this story is going to give people an insight about her and about her background before we even get her.
It's got to be soon though, right? Or wait, is she after Dark Cal, or is she...
Yep, you're right. She's after Dark Hail.
After Dark? Okay.
We should be getting her really, really soon. Yeah, we'll be getting her really, really soon. Honestly, I'm still working on Ryan fragments myself. I'm really far behind.
No.
I'm so bad. Like when it comes to Doom Tower things, honestly, on the weekends, sometimes I don't even do Doom Tower, sometimes I don't do raids, so I'm just behind.
Yeah, definitely. It happens to me too much.
All right, well, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, beer, whatever you got. We're gonna hang out and join us for the story for Gwynneth. Assassins play a crucial role in the brutal order the Dark Elves had built following their exile from the lands of Arabia. They end political rivalries and settle disputes. They remove undesirable voices that go against the will of the Highborn and ensure only the most cunning rise to the top. But cutthroat thugs are a dime and a dozen. It takes dedication and the talent of a natural killer to become a true master, whose services shall be valued among the noble houses of Durham.
Gwynneth knew no other life. She was sold to a clandestine guild of blades when she was but a child and spent her youth in grueling training. The guild saw potential in her, and its cruel taskmasters held nothing back as they forged the girl into a living weapon. No other apprentice of theirs showed such skill with a spear, nor the cold-blooded willingness to slay when ordered to do so. By the time Gwynneth reached adulthood, she was little more than a danger in elvish form. Passionless, cold, ruthless.
She donned a silver mask upon her initiation, concealing her face from the world and becoming a perfect infiltrator. For years, Gwynneth posed as a servant, a traveling minstrel, or a merchant to fool her victims, and it was far too late to run by the time she revealed her true nature. No one ever lived to tell the tale. Unseen though she was, Gwynneth's reputation grew along with the price of her services.
The unthinkable happened when the Guild of Blades took a contract to slay the heiress of an ascendant noble family. They chose Gwynneth for the task, and she had successfully infiltrated the house under the guise of a nursemaid. Yet, as she saw the perfect opportunity to complete her mission, Gwynneth found she did not have the heart to strike down a young girl. Realization dawned, and the assassin was forced to confront the atrocities she had both committed and suffered at the hands of her wardens. Disgusted, she fled the manor, the contract unfulfilled. But the guild would never let her betrayal go unpunished. She had to strike both to ensure her own safety and that of the child she refused to murder.
To Gwynneth's good fortune, word of her flight had not yet reached the guildmasters, and such was her reputation, she managed to return to the hideout without raising suspicion at first. The slaughter that followed was terrible to behold, and at its height, Gwynneth faced her old mentor. The two of them exchanged no words. Theirs was the language of steel. The clash was short and brutal. Though Gwynneth was wounded and exhausted, she stood still victorious.
Yet, even with most of the blades lying dead at her feet, Gwyneth's vengeance was far from its conclusion. The so-called family that sold her into slavery had much to answer for, and those who contracted her to kill a child were still at large. The newfound determination, Gwynneth retrieved an enchanted dragon scale cuirass from the guild's armory and faded into the night once more.
All right, so that was the story for Gwynneth, and I'm not sure what you think about this. I know when you and I talked about doing this story, she gave me like Black Widow vibes, and I thought that was a lot of fun. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I like that Obviously, it was like a morality issue. Like, sure, even when it came down to it, like killing a child, she's like, can't do it, can't do it. I mean, there's so many of these stories that are just like, they're ruthless. And I play other games where there's very similar stories that made me kind of feel like Near Reincarnation a lot. There's some very similar stories about turning people into weapons, and then they're just being completely brutal. But hey, when it came down to it, at least she couldn't kill a child.
I know, and that's what we get out of this. And what I find is interesting. So first of all, looking at Gwynneth, I honestly wouldn't have thought that she would have been a dark elf. Like, I could see her, and I could see her story fitting into Shadowkin even. You know, if they had wanted to do that, they could, because they talk about guild masters. They talk about like this whole idea of living weapons and being in the shadow and pretty much being an assassin. Like, it fits. It fits Shadowkin, right?
Her outfit even looks like Shadowkin. Did they mess up?
No, I don't know if they messed up or not, but at least, you know, they added and they tied in, because her armor does look like dragon scale. So again, where does that fit in? But that last paragraph you had read where she grabs an enchanted dragon scale cuirass, it looks like it all, at least that kind of ties in together, and it makes it kind of cool and a fun story.
Yeah, definitely.
The idea of assassins too, like when I try to think about this, again, her being in a dark elf, another one that comes to mind is like Foley. I know you think about Foley. His design, like, he reminds me of if there was going to be this guild of assassins in Dark Elf, like, I could probably see these two being part of that.
That's a really good point. Yeah, Foley seems... I mean, Foley's awesome. He's got really, really cool design as well. They definitely do a good job with design, and I wonder, I mean, this is all we get on her, right? So we don't know. Is there more to her story? We don't really know, I guess, unfortunately.
I know, that's it. And to your point, it makes me wonder, like, they kind of stopped it with her wanting to get revenge for them trying to set her to set up a child for something, like you said, that in morality she couldn't do it. So how does she end up in the Doom Tower? You know, they kind of don't tie that. I wish they did. I wish they told us what happened afterwards. So she gets the dragon scale cuirass, and then what? How does, like, why is she in the Doom Tower? Is she looking to get help? Is she looking to recruit Dark Hale, who's also a dark elf? You know, to your point, I would love to have seen them have a little bit more with this.
Yeah, maybe tie in another character at least, or like, who's her boss? Who trained her?
Oh, exactly. Like, who's her boss and who trained her? Exactly. Like, there could have been some more fun with this, for sure. And I know that she's new, so we don't have a chance to try her out yet. But hey, I believe most of us are going to get her soon. We're going to be able to try her out in the game and see how we like her and how her abilities, how her animations possibly could even fit in with the lore story. And hopefully they did a good job trying to tie some of that together.
Definitely. I mean, her kit sounds really good. I really like her kit. Has some unique features that I think is the first in the game, actually.
Yeah, her A1 is she can't be counterattacked, right? She has the AoE and it doesn't trigger counterattacks. And that was one of the things I really like too.
So that could be good for Nether Spider, and of course, against Valkyrie.
Oh yeah, we were talking some of those annoying waves. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right, and then we can't forget her A3 actually does tie into the story a little bit, I think. Transfers all debuffs from this champion to one target enemy, then attacks the enemy and ignores defense. So like the transfer of debuffs, like her kind of turning around and going against her guild and going from, like, I don't know, like, I think that kind of works well, don't you? I
can see that, yeah.
Symbolizes.
Yeah, since you were talking about how she had a struggle of conscience, right? It's a struggle of conscience, a struggle of morality. I can see where you're going with that, and at least that's fun. I do like when the game tries to tie in some of the abilities along with the lore story, and even something like this. I guess how we can see that, because instead of her doing what she's supposed to, she kind of goes against that, which is pretty cool, and I like that point that you made. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me for the story of Gwynneth, and I hope you guys liked it as well. I'm gonna have a link down below for IvyLee's Twitch and her YouTube. Please toss her a follow. It's always important that we share the love with our friends. And IvyLee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out some more videos up here in the playlist on the top right.